So normally when I do these new Guitar Day reveal videos, I talk a little bit too much in the beginning and try to build up a little bit of suspense, blah, blah, blah. But I'm too excited about this guitar, so I'm just gonna show it to you. This is my new custom Novo Idris. There's a lot I wanna tell you about this guitar, but first let's hear it. So the idea for this guitar build came about last year when I got my first Idris, the shell pink one. I absolutely fell in love with it. I did a video on it. If you want to see it, I'll put a link right here. But as a Strat guy, I love the design of it. It's familiar enough to feel like home, but also just a little bit different enough to be really inspiring. So this pink Idris, which I've changed the pickups on, was one of their first Idris builds when they first came out. And I knew that I wanted to have another one with some custom tweaks at some point. So with this one, let's start with the visuals. So my original idea for this was, I had seen some builds with like a design or print on the body, and on top of that was another color, and I really liked the look of that. So for instance, I have a friend that has a Gretsch that's like a serape print underneath like a sparkle sunburst. And I could have sworn that I've seen something like a Louis Vuitton, you know, logo print and like some white on top of it or black on top of it. But I always thought that idea was unique and fun. So I'm like, well, what can I do? And I had this really cool Hawaiian shirt that I stole from my dad like way back in college. And I thought that would be a cool idea, you know, to have kind of like a Hawaiian shirt design on the body. But I didn't want to destroy that shirt, and I didn't know how to implement a fabric onto a guitar body. I would just leave that up to Dennis. But like I said, I didn't want to destroy that shirt for the sake of the guitar, so it got me looking for other Hawaiian shirt style prints, which led me into looking for more like Tiki bar or Tiki culture style prints and designs. And Dennis and I found this one. Obviously, I love the color teal, and I love the, you know, the design elements with this teal and orange. It's kind of reminds me of Miami Dolphins, I guess. But remember, my original idea was to have this print on the body. So we ordered some fabric, but it kind of proved to be pretty difficult to have fabric on the body and have it look like a paint job. And also it would have prevented them from doing one of my favorite features of Novo's and kind of what they're known for, and that's the raised grain that they do on all of their bodies, which not only looks cool, but it also creates a texture, which is a big part of the feel of their guitars. So Dennis had a better idea of making the print as the Piit Guard, and I actually like that idea a little bit more than my original one. So somehow he was able to sandwich the fabric in a resin and cut the Piit Guard perfectly. So the Piit Guard is actually a piece of cloth in epoxy. He also surprised me with a matching backplate. By the way, the tentative name for this is the Tiki Idris. I was trying to think of Tiki style names, and I was looking at, you know, Tiki cocktail drinks or Tiki bar names. But if you think of something better, let me know down in the comments. So I still wanted that look of a color over a color paint job. And I know that Novo does them really, really well. So we actually matched the paint from the teal in the fabric. And by the way, this color teal is a little bit different than my original Cirrus J with the Ronquillo, Sonny Crockett, Miami Vice paint job. So we're calling this Tiki Tealio. And then we have Olympic white over it. And let's talk about the distressing or relicking that they do at Novo. This is probably the best relicking or distressing job that I've ever had on a guitar. This is technically their medium distress level. So they actually do something a little bit less and they do something a little bit more. But this is perfect for me. I love the way that the Tiki Tealio pops out in certain places. You know, even in the back that you got to the bare wood. To me, it's like the perfect amount of the two colors. Exactly what I wanted. And I know some people dislike relic guitars. I absolutely love them. I own several. And I also love beat up vintage instruments too. When I see them weathered and distressed, they put me in a mood. They inspire me. You know, I'm not afraid to toss them around on gigs or accidentally get them dinged up. So yes, there's definitely a Hendrix inspiration to this build visually, but also sonically. So let's talk about the pickups. So these pickups are Lindy Fralins. In the neck in the middle, we have the wood stocks. And these are their Hendrix style pickups, which are actually left-hand staggered, like upside down staggered. And I actually have these pickups in my RS Guitar Works Twisted, and I absolutely love them. There's something about them. Yes, they do that Hendrix thing, but it's also just a really good 60s style Strat pickup. The bridge pickup is something that I took a chance on and I never even tried before. This is their split steel pull pickup, which is a noiseless P90. I wanted to try something a little bit different, something a little beefier than a standard Strat pickup, but not something like a humbucker. And it's been great, and it pairs well with the wood stocks, and I love that it's noiseless. Okay, so let's talk about the weird angling of the pickups. So all three pickups are angled, but you'll also notice that they are technically reverse angled. So on a regular Strat, the bridge pickup is always angled with the top unwound strings oriented closer to the bridge and the wound strings further away. And it does that classic legendary Strat bridge sound. But something that I discovered on my RS Guitar Works Twisted, which has the bridge pickup reversed, is that I love the sound of the high strings kind of mellowed out and the wound strings a little bit more bitey, a little bit chewier. And the same goes for the other pickups. I have the Charvel Jakey Lee, which has the neck and the middle pickups reverse angled as well. And I've always loved this neck pickup sound. To me, it's like the best Strat neck pickup sound I've ever heard. So that's kind of the idea with having all three pickups reverse angled. It's not just to make it look different, there's actually a pretty big sonic difference. And the only other guitar that I've seen with three Strat single coils reverse angled, I think Paul Gilbert had one of his first Ibanez Fireman's with that kind of orientation. So if it's good enough for PG, I also put a Fralin blender pot in the second tone knob, which is something that I did on my original Shell Pink Idris. And this allows you to blend the bridge and the neck pickups to get that middle position telly sound, as well as get all three pickups at once. With the reverse headstock, I just thought it complemented the angling of the pickups better, as well as an obvious nod to Hendrix. There's some people that say that the tension is a little bit different when the headstock is reverse angled. To me, it doesn't make that big of a difference. But the other specs on this guitar are pretty standard to the Idris line. We got tempered pine body, tempered maple neck. I love the distressing that they did on this too. I don't think I've ever had a Novo with a maple neck. Standard 25.5-inch Fender scale. Compound radius 9.5 to 14 inches. Vintage style Clouson tuners. Man-made vibrato, which is one of my favorite Strat style tremolos. But yeah, that's it. This is the Tiki Idris. I can't thank Dennis Fano and the entire crew at Novo enough for knocking this build out of the park like they always do. I think this is the 5th Novo that I've owned, and they never cease to amaze me. I love it. If you want to learn more about Novo guitars, I'll put links to all their stuff in the description. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know you're going to be seeing this guitar a lot. Thank you for watching and sharing the joy of my new guitar with me. If you'd like to see more videos like this, gear demos, or guitar lessons, click that subscribe button. I'm RJ Ronquillo, and I'll see you in the next video.